All right, so let's get into that game, right? So obviously with game ones, there's always kind of that first game
Yeah.
jitter, slow pace to it. But this game didn't have that, right? The Cowboys came out right away, scored. Eagles came back and scored, and so it was kind of going back and forth, and they were up about 14-14, where it's just like, man, these teams are actually coming out of the gates offensively dominating, which was kind of cool to see because normally it takes like a quarter to kind of get these teams to play well. So what did you see with the first quarter and just kind of how the first half went?
Yeah, it's like it's game one, right? You don't want to look too deep into it. But with the Eagles, they're just a well-oiled machine. It looked like we were about to have just a crazy high-scoring affair. What 21-20 was the halftime score. So you figured, we're getting to a game maybe in the 40s or so, just the way things were going. Um, and a lot of times, you see kind of the offense needing to catch up to the defense in those early season games, but it was the exact opposite. Um, Pretty much, there was just scores every possession in the first half, whether it be a touchdown or field goal. And then, yeah, second half, 3 points total. The delay could have definitely had something to do with that. It was our delay. So Miles Sanders had just fumbled the ball for Dallas, and Eagles had swooped it up, and so you figured there would have been a kind of a momentum swing there, and they all of a sudden had to go to the locker room after that, and so that position that they came out of that break, they ended up punting. But yeah, first half was very fluid and definitely a surprise.
Yeah, the biggest turning point for Dallas was that fumble by Sanders, especially after he
Yeah,
ripped off like a 50-yard run. And then they fumbled, and then immediately after that, they go into this lightning delay, rain delay, thunderstorm,
yep,
and that pretty much kind of killed their momentum, especially for the Cowboys. Now, this game was interesting, right? Because all the touchdowns are all rushing. There's no passing touchdowns in this game, right? You had two rushing touchdowns by Jalen Hurts and Saquon, and then you had two by Javante, and then two more field goals from the Cowboys. So interesting game. It felt like the ball was moving well, especially in that first half. Like even they were like Dak was
yeah.
passing well, everything was passing well. Um, but it got a little stagnant, obviously, in the second half, especially with the delay happening.
Yeah, if you were to just to look, not watch the game, look at the passing stats, you see Dak 21 for 34, 188 yards. You see Jalen Hurts, while being efficient, 19 for 23, but only 152 yards. You'd be like, what do you mean this was like an offensive showing in that first half, right? Because that doesn't feel that way. But it just kind of comes, at least for the Eagles, they run the ball. Hurts runs the ball, obviously Barkley. Um, Man, to me, I was thinking about it all game long. There is really no such thing as a first and 10, second and 10 for the Eagles. It's really a first and 9, a second and 9, because if they have a yard to go, I mean, there's a not many guarantees. That tush push, I mean, they're going to get a first down. So they really only need 9 yards, if you think about it. And so that's an advantage they have. But yeah, going back to kind of statistically speaking, yeah, it wasn't, Hertz had a good game fantasy wise, but nothing really stood out. I mean, look, CD Lamb had a great game, pretty good game. I don't want to say great because he had a few drops, but if he had caught those balls, that one was really, really tough. The other two were just balls that, I mean, a great receivers, they make plays on, and he is a great receiver. So he probably could have got even better numbers, and that would have probably helped Dak's numbers a bit. But yeah, it was just one of those things where it was just 5 rushing touchdowns. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's not many certain things besides what death, taxes, and tush push, man. That tush push
Yep.
is unstoppable, and even like when they ran it tonight, and you felt like they got stopped, you still saw Jalen get across the first line, right, or first down marker. So
Yep.
it's a tough thing to stop, and that's why the NFL was trying to ban it, or other teams were trying to ban it. But if you can't stop it, then do it, right? And you don't see any other teams really doing it. So it's just something that they have, and obviously you see in Jalen Hurts, such a great runner, and he just seems so poised back there, even when offensively, when things are you feel like they're struggling, he's a pretty much smooth operator at all times. Um,
Yep.
my question for you: what did this game show you something from the Cowboys?
Um, yeah, they obviously they lost, and you can say, hey, it was kind of, almost, typical like Cowboys fashion, just drop balls and really, really had the game in front of them, had more than enough opportunities to take this game, and so, but I'm gonna kind of look at it a glass half full. I think they hung in there with Philadelphia. I think they showed that they have a defense that I feel is going to struggle early on, but I think it'll get better and better. They have some nice young pieces there. Obviously, with Parsons out, it's going to be big. But I think offensively, they're going to be pretty good. Throwing that ball around. Kind of we'll see about the running back position, but I think they're going to be able to stay kind of close to teams because of their offense. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to look too much into it, but they did show that I feel like kind of what you were saying last night is you do have a feeling they're going to be pretty formidable. And again, as I mentioned last night, tonight was a tough game, and they got some winnable games coming up that they have to take care of business if they want to kind of hang in this playoff race. What about you? Did you like what you saw, or any concerns?
Yeah, I like what I saw offensively. I think as the games go on, they'll get a better flow with their passing game. But
Yeah.
having two bookends of CD Lamb and George Pickens on both sides, and then
Yeah.
having like a Turpin kind of as your slot receiver, I think is going to be pretty lethal. And also, you have Ferguson as your tight end. So I think offensively, they should be. That's where they're gonna thrive and be the best at, right? Now, defensively is where I think they're always going to struggle. I mean, they haven't been a good defensive team for a while now, and I think they have some young talent that could possibly help. Like, what did Jerry say? I mean, everybody kind of laughed, and what he said, we need to stop the run, right? They traded Micah Parsons off, and he got Carter back from the Packers. And what they do tonight, they stop the run for the most part, right?
Yeah. Not too
Yeah,
bad.
it's hard to stop a team that completely rushes from the quarterback position, and you have the best running back in there.
Right.
And they honestly held what Jalen Hurts to, he's going to get his, but he held him to 62 yards. And Saquon is the biggest hold right there, right? 18 carries for 60 yards. So if they can
You'll take that.
hold most backs, I mean, you're not going to play a Saquon every week, but if you can hold most backs like that to pretty low yardage, I think they can take some things from that, some of the footage, and understand that that might be a strength for them this year.
Yeah. Look, I mean, they have Trayvon Diggs back too this year. So hopefully can hold down the secondary for them. He did a pretty damn good job on AJ Brown today. But yeah, they 18 for 60. I think you'll take that. That's like an average of 3.1 or so, 3.1, 3.3 yards a carry. That's not that great. And so defensively, sure, Philly had a great first half, but Dallas did enough defensively in the second half. And now they just kind of going forward have to piece those two halves together. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and obviously, I predicted them to win tonight, Dallas, or just kind of going out on a limb. But the spread was 8.5, right? And
Yeah,
they kept it close, and I thought this
covered.
would be a close game. I think the delay is going to kill everybody, and both teams had a delay, so you can't really just
Yeah.
blame one team or another. But I feel like if they didn't have that delay, it could have been a little better outcome, especially for some of those drop passes that CeeDee Lamb had, because you take an hour off and then come back and still try to run those routes and feel like you still have the same timing. It's going to be difficult no matter what.
Yeah, you can probably chalk up the sloppiness or the kind of inability to really get things going offensively. that last quarter and a half to the delay. I mean, it was an hour or so, and it was, I mean, they had halftime, they came back for about half a quarter, and then they went out again for an hour. First game of the year. So yeah, I'd probably chalk it up to that myself.
Yeah, for sure. But anybody in the chat right now on the live stream, let us know your thoughts on the game. Drop them in the comments, and we will get back to them. Got a good comment right here because this is our man Cam. He says, "Yes, I'm okay. Further tests look good. Positive news. I feel very confident." So Cam was in the ER last night. I'm hoping he's okay. And he also says, "Nobody can stop the tush push." You're right, Cam. It's pretty
He,
unstoppable.
he is not wrong. He is not wrong about that one. We haven't seen it yet, so